The most honorable Elijah Muhammad, in his monumental book, How to Eat to Live, advises us that we should not eat catfish and other scavengers of the sea that are bottom feeders. Joining us to discuss this is NNV contributor Charles Muhammad. Welcome to the show. Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak.
Kareem, thank
Let's get into this line of questioning about fish, Brother Charles. The first thing I'd like to ask you is fasting during Ramadan has benefits, but what can we do after Ramadan ends to maintain good health?
Well, in chapter 14 of book number 2 of How to Eat to Live by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, which is actually the longest chapter in both of the books, he discusses Ramadan, its purpose, its history, the practice, and he also speaks about moving away from eating meat, right? Lamb, chicken, beef. And interesting enough, he mentioned fish in a positive light. He says that fish is good for us. He says fish we can eat. It's raised under a different atmosphere. And then at the end, he says fish is good for us. And as you can see, there are different varieties of vegetarianism. The most popular one right now is veganism, but by a small portion, pescatarianism, which are vegetarians who do eat fish occasionally, they tend to have a longer lifespan and better health outcomes in terms of heart health and brain function. So one of the things we can continue after the holy month of Ramadan is continue to draw away from eating land animals and incorporate more fish into our diet.
Good. You know, we hear a lot about fish oil supplements, and we see them on the shelves at our local grocery stores. Are there any real health benefits to using fish oils?
Well, absolutely. But scientists, they have found out that the brain needs fatty, long-chain fatty acids, which are omega-3s, particularly DHA and EPA. These fatty acids, which are rich in the tissue of fish, help with brain function, sensory, and cellular regeneration all throughout the body. So people try to supplement that artificially through fish oil supplement pills or gel capsules. But a supplement is an add-on to complete the daily requirements, when you could just go straight to the source, which are the proper fish that people have eaten for millennia. So to get it artificially, sometimes it doesn't meet your nutritional needs. So you may overhit the mark or underhit the mark. So to eat fish for its fish oils is essential.
So for those who consume fish or like to eat fish, what are the best fish that we can eat, and where can we find them?
Well, the smaller the fish is the best fish in this case. And the Elijah Muhammad stated that eating like river trout or channel trout, whitefish, perch are good to eat. Those are small fish, sometimes 1.5 pounds to 5 pounds. Those are the best fish to eat. But we want to stay away from the larger fish, 10 pounds or larger, sometimes 50 pounds, because those are the scavenger fish, or those are the predator fish that eat other fish, and they are more toxic to be in our diet.
Great. Brother Charles, we often hear about mercury and the levels of mercury that are found in fish. Question is, are all fish full of mercury?
Well, I will have to say yes. Now, we got to give me a little bit of time to answer that question. Mercury is a natural element on the periodic table. So it is in the land, it's in the seas, it's in the water. So even when the machinations of man in this industry, they have runoff that goes into the water sources and the streams and the lakes and the rivers, and then you have these tiny creatures called krill, or what are called phytoplankton, that eat these things, and then the fish come along and eat them. So it becomes embedded in their muscular tissue. But that's for the smaller fish. When the larger fish come, they eat the smaller fish, and they have a higher concentration of mercury. But mercury is a natural metal or mineral that is in our planet. So as you can see, if on the chart here that the smaller fish has the lower level of mercury, so they are an unlimited source of food. But the larger fish, it tends to tell you to limit that intake. So yes, there are traces of mercury in all fish.
Okay, Brother Charles, allow me to push back just a little bit. Talking about natural amounts of mercury in the body, how is any amount of mercury in the body not poisonous?
But let's take example two natural elements like such as calcium. Calcium is also on the periodic table as well as mercury. Now, calcium, no one would dispute that is very healthy for the body, but we can't go and dig with our hands to find traces of calcium in mountains or in reserves, or try to mine it ourselves and then try to eat it. Pure calcium is toxic to the body. So we rely on the calcium to seep into the soil, then into plants, then into animal flesh, and then we will prefer to get the calcium from their milk or eggs. But then there's some of us who try to skip a few steps and try to get to the plants. But the plant version of calcium is not that bioavailable. It's better for us in the form of animal flesh or than milk and eggs. Likely with mercury, but we want less mercury. But mercury is the same type of mineral, right? That can be found in the earth. It seeps into the water. It's in plants. It's in other creatures that eat the plants. So it is naturally occurring in all humans. Now, there was a study in the Seychelles Island. These are 115 tiny islands where on those islands, the inhabitants, they eat 8 times the amount of fish than we do here in the United States, 8 times. And they found that there was no adverse effects to mercury, and they didn't even have significant high levels of mercury because the body does have a certain use of mercury in it, but it keeps the levels down to a certain rate. So yes, it is a toxic substance in high amounts, but the body does balance that when it is ingesting fish.
All right, Brother Charles, for our pescatarians and our fish eaters, where will fish be in the future of food?
Well, there's a saying that there's plenty of fish in the sea, and we don't really understand how vast the oceans and the seas are that can hold fish. And 3.5 billion people have fish as their source of food. And that seems to is going to double within the next 10 years to 7 billion. So fish is going to remain on the menu for the majority of the planet. So, be happy that this is a food supply that seems to be unlimited if we treat our water sources properly. Fish will be with man for a long time.
All right, let us pause from some announcements from our sponsors. And after we come back, we'll come back with Salih Muhammad for the IASA report. We'll be right back.
Be a part of the force that powers truth in journalism. Go to nnvnews.com/donate.
Thank you for tuning in to NNV News. Please share your thoughts with us in the comments section below. Follow us on social media at NNV News, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel, National Network View. This is Clifton Muhammad with nnvnews.com.
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call Radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
This is Sister Sajda Muhammad. We are proud to announce that the Sajda House commemorative Elijah coins are finally here. As we renovate and restore the former home of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we have recycled the old copper gutters and downspouts and created a 1 ounce 39 millimeter coin made of 100% pure copper. Each coin is professionally graded and has its own barcode and registration number. This priceless heirloom, made from recycled copper from the messenger's home, is now available at sajdahouse.com.